About this.
Yes. Hello, people. How are we doing? Are we here?
Hi, sir.
Hey. Hey, Jenny. All right. I see some of us are here, but
Sir,
we're gonna say again.
wrong person.
Okay. No. Jenny gave me a thumbs up. So
Oh,
I
okay.
was right. It was a virtual thumbs up. Right. So, right. Um, we're just gonna jump straight in because we don't want to be here all night. And I know this is a late class, and you are probably, exhausted from the day of learning, right? So we are gonna continue what we were doing earlier today. All right. And we're back. So I think I'm gonna change the background back to like a better background. Hope I'm not blinding anybody. All right. So everyone here picked out some images here. We do need to give ourselves some space to apply to deconstruct our sheets. You might want to make it a little smaller. I would say Davis. Is Davis here? No, I don't see Davis. Okay. Yeah, we would want to have something that has text and a title, preferably. So I'm gonna put a sticky note. All right. Interesting. Nikolai, I don't see you. And Leonardo, I don't think you look like this. I'm just guessing, right? And Antonia as well. All right. So I need to put a submission button for this. So I'm just going to make one a little later. I'm going to say submit screenshot of this activity here. All right. Put that in red so we don't miss it. Now let's put it in yellow. Now let's put the outline in yellow. Put the background yellow like that. All right. So this is where you're going to go and submit this activity as soon as you're done. All right. Now, earlier today, we were at step 4, where we started to look at how presentation boards reflect the use of typography, principles of design, and elements of design, right? So, what we're going to do here is you are going to 5 come before 6. Okay, you are going to design your presentation board, using InDesign. You're going to do this, but there's one other skill that I want you guys to be able to develop, and that is called wireframing, right? Um, wireframing. Is that a question, Daniel? Or no? Nope. Right.
Mommy, I'm coming.
Okay. All right. So that is called wireframing. And wireframing is something that we all do. We call it different things in different industries. For example, in architecture, we would say massing, right? So, um, Elena, if I say to you, I'm massing to create a massing model, right? What do I mean by that, Elena?
Wait, sir, I literally just joined.
As you step through the virtual door.
Literally.
All right, no problem. Generally, when I say create a massing model, what do I mean by that in terms of architecture?
For a massing model?
Yeah, a massing model. When I refer to the term massing model.
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. Who else wants to give it a try? Yeah, go ahead, Ansel.
So like solids,
Mm-hmm.
like 3D shapes of basically like a 3D shape of the
Of whatever you're designing.
whatever you design.
Right. I think a word that I would like to hear you use is simplified. So it's like a simplified 3D shape. So if you have a building that has two different boxes, then a massing model will have two different boxes, right? So right. So in architecture, particularly in 3D, in the realm of 3D, we use, just stick this here, we use massing models to depict different things, but a lot of times it is a very basic shape. Could be of a design, right? Or a concept, but usually massing models don't have much detail, right? No, so this is architecture. Massing models. Yeah. Sure. Right. Give me another industry. In game design, actually, if you are a person that designs like, I don't know, um, um, Call of Duty and all of these video games, um, they call it blockout, right? In game design. And what a blockout is, let's take a picture here. All right, so we call this blockout in game design, right? Game design. So in the game design industry, they don't start by creating buildings and large mushrooms and stuff like that. They create these boxes to block out what the navigation looks like. So if it's a driving game, then it's a blockout of the track. If it's a first person shooter, it's a blockout of the room. If it's a game like Mario, or what do you call those? Side scrolling, it's a blockout of the holes that you die in and the platforms that you walk on. So that's what it is. Now, in artwork, we sometimes refer to our way of doing this as think this is a good example. In the world of artwork, we refer to this as wireframing. Right. So it's wireframing. Some people would maybe call it framing. There's different like connotations to it. But all of these methods that I'm showing you here, there are ways of simplifying a design to its basic elements before you start adding details. That is essentially what it is. So this simplification is a part of every design industry that exists. Doesn't matter if it's architecture or artwork. So what we're going to be doing with the model, with the boards that you selected, I believe I did change my board to this one, is we're going to be breaking it down to its simplified nature, right? To its simplified representation, right? And simplified means like a summary. So if I was to block out what this artboard look like, this presentation board, well, and I'm going to use some simple shapes here in mirror board. I'm going to draw the shape over here first, and I'm going to set it to, be purple or something weird and make it semi-transparent. Right. So right away, we have, I would say, the title information, right? And then we have a group of text that's here, along with 3 icons. Now, this can be as detailed or as simplified as we want, but in this case, we just want it to be simple. We want to do a simple blockout. So I'm not going to block out every single text, but only the main items. Then we have another area here. And then we have a main image that's down here. Over here, we have this element here. And then over here, we have all of this that has to do with location. So if I should pull this apart, this is what the blockout looks like, right? So whenever we're doing any form of artwork, in this case, we're talking about presentation boards, then it's usually best for us to do a blockout. Now, in this case, I'm doing it in the reverse, right? Because you have to kind of imagine that, or get into the habit. I'm going to delete my line here. Right, we need to get into the habit of when we're about to lay out a presentation, the first thing we do is kind of do the blockout, right? So for example, here I have my title. And here I have, let's call it solution. I think this is the form. And I think these are maybe the features, I guess. It don't have to be that accurate. And down here we have rendering. Here we have, I'm not sure what this is. I'm just going to call it feature because it's a different language, guys. And then over here we have location. So what I've done here is that I've reversed engineered what this layout is by creating a blockout, right? Now, as I said, normally the blockout comes first, but in this case, we're just going to reverse engineer the elements that we have had here in a blockout. Now, some of our blockouts might have two different, we're going to create two different detail levels. I should have made this landscape. Oh man. Okay, all right. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull this over here. Just give me 1 sec. All right, just give me 1 sec, guys. I think we might need a little bit more space. Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna grab half of this. Stick that down here. I'm gonna grab all of this. Carry it over a little more. And I know you can't edit. That's okay. I'm just doing some house cleaning here. Come on. There we go. Right. Because I think yes. 9. Yeah, we're gonna need 16.9, I think. Yeah. Did I not choose the frames? Oh, you got to be kidding me. I can't do all at once. Oh no. Oh man. Right. So I'm gonna just fix the top row, guys, and then you can just follow suit. All right. Everyone can just make their own a little bit more like organized and aligned. Can make the image and everything a bit smaller. Yeah, because we do need to go the other way. So what I did was make it 16:9. Hold on, this is a, oh, this was custom. Okay, 16:9. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be our template going forward. So you guys can just edit that when you're done. Anyway, we're still continuing with what we're doing. My picture doesn't need to be so big. It can be a little smaller. Let's make this a little bigger. All right. Okay. Now, if I was to break this down a little further, then we can start to look at the other shapes that is made up here. So for example, we have a circle. And let's make this a little less transparent so that we can see it a little clearer. Oops. And I'm just using some simple shapes here. Maybe boxes and circles. Some of you might have triangles. So we have a kind of heading and text there. And this doesn't have to be super accurate on the information. Some of you have some custom shapes that might get a little interesting to represent, right? But so for example, in this other blockout, what I'm doing is doing things that vary. So for example, this is text, but this is an image, right? Doesn't matter. Maybe it needs to be a little smaller. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of the text in yellow and all of the images in blue. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here. All right. Are you guys seeing the screen okay? Are you guys kind of understanding what I'm doing? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Right. There we go. Paste this here, and I'm just going to resize this. This doesn't really need, so I don't need to do like everything super detailed. I'm simply just highlighting text and images. In this case, you could say information and images. I guess you could say that. So in this case, I'm going to put this in blue because this is kind of like an image or a logo. Or it's more of a heading. I'm not sure if I should make the heading a different color. Anyway, here I'm just going to put all of this in blue because this is an image. And then I put all of this in yellow. And then this one is a little different here. Oops. I'm holding Alt and drag to copy, or I can just do Control C, Control V, and I'm just resizing this here. All right. Oh, we have one more here. So I'm going to put a big.
Sir,
Yes, go ahead.
sir, could you allow us to edit now?
Hold on. Give me a minute. All right. And I'm going to just say, where is that thing? Bring to front. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to copy this over. All right. So right now we have 2 levels of details here. So right away, this shows us how this board has been broken down. And the interesting thing with this is that without even knowing what information is where, we can already see some things that we might want to edit. So for example, we're going to look at things like elements of design. So alignment. So right away we could deduce that, okay, we want to align this with this here, right? We can kind of see how proximity works. Like we can see that these are all close together. We can see, hold on, these look like it's speaking to the image below because it's kind of faded below, right? And notice that I'm not trying to like do everything. Like I don't need to have these little numbers or this heading. I'm just broad brushing things that are image and things that are information, right? So when I break this down, these are like the zones, and this is like a detailed zone. So what I've essentially done is I've created a blockout or a massing model. In our case, it is going to be a wireframe. And this wireframe is what gives us an idea of how your layout is reading visually. All right. Now, before you guys do the part 5 and 6, we're reverse engineering this. So this is what the layout looks like. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is theme. Like, how would I describe this theme? Now, remember we spoke about theme earlier when we looked on this example. where we try to identify things that are totally different. For example, this is a photo of a design in architecture. This is an icon. This is a font, and this is a color, but yet they all say the same theme. So theme is something that ties different visual experiences together, regardless of the medium that you are experiencing them in, right? Because these are all different mediums: color, text, a design, and an icon. So if I look at this, what theme can I describe? How can I describe the theme of this artboard, of this presentation? So I would say theme. Put. I mean, it's not bold, so I'm going to say theme. I'm just going to leave it at theme, right? And when we talk about themes, we're looking at things like photos, shapes, maybe color, things like that. And imagine that you guys were not seeing my screen now. So for example, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Daniel, you hear Daniel?
Sir, can you please repeat?
Right. Do you remember the last thing that you saw on my screen?
No, sir.
You remember what I was looking at?
Sir, the last thing I saw was when you were editing the frames thingy.
Okay, cool. All right. Nikoi. Are you here, Nikoi? Yes, no, maybe so. No?
Yes, sir.
Right. Do you remember the last thing I showed on my screen? The presentation board?
Honestly, the last thing I remember seeing was is a picture.
It's a picture.
Yeah.
All right. So let me throw the question out. Who remembers the presentation board from memory that was on my screen just now?
I do, sir.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
do.
All right, cool. Now, what if I ask you to describe it to me? Like, imagine you went to an architectural presentation and I didn't go, and I said, hey, how did the board look? And if you really look into that, you tend to describe, your mind automatically starts theming your explanation together. So for example, everything was pink and it had curves. There were a lot of curves and they had all the drawings in this. You know what I mean? So you start to describe what you saw, but that is essentially the theme of the presentation, right? So if I was to describe the presentation to you and I'm not looking on the presentation, I would maybe say presentation board. Okay, hold on. I'm going to share about my screen now. Don't worry. There we go. Yeah. I would probably say to you that the presentation board is in a portrait format with I would say subtle colors of grays and black. it makes use of symbols and illustrations in I would say circular icons with text below. Right, so this is like I'm describing what the presentation is to you. Now, I also want to include portrait format, colors of grays and black. I would probably say text is no. I don't even have to describe the text so specifically, but I would say modern. And I would use words like I'm just going to leave it at modern. Yeah, modern themed presentation board. So it's a modern theme presentation board in a portrait format with subtle colors of grays and black. It makes use of symbols and illustrations in circular icons with text below. Just a simple paragraph. So this is how I would describe this. Now, what I've done is that is the theme of the presentation, right? Remember, we are reverse engineering this presentation, right? So it's already designed, but we're just stating what we make of it. And a good way to describe it is to take it off the screen and just describe what you saw. And you're going to find that you are describing the theme of the thing that you saw. And that is essentially what a theme is, right? And in a minute, you guys are going to create your own theme. We're going to learn how do you create a theme. But for right now, we're just trying to identify a theme. And remember, a theme is like a grouping of things that relate together. It doesn't have to be speaking about a particular thing. We're not talking about graphics only, text only. We're not talking about image only. We're just talking about almost like the feel of what you saw. Like you just described it in a simple sentence, right? Okay, now I also want to identify some things that are, I would say that I have a problem with this presentation. So for example, my biggest thing here is alignment. I see where some of the alignment is good, but then some of the alignment is a little weird. And you can even identify that in the blockout. For example, there's a space here, which is a little weird. I mean, it's just this kind of space that doesn't, like, for example, if the space was like this, then I could understand because it's in alignment, right? You see what I'm saying, Leonardo?
Yes, sir, I get you.
Right. But it's like this. So I'm like, why is it like that? You know what I mean? As it relates to contrast and all of that, I kind of, I can read everything and I think that is great. And I'm not going to go too deep in some other stuff. For example, the title is good because when I look at the board, I can see the title that's right there. It's very bold and it has the information linked to it and all of that's good. Now I can start to look at these other things. For example, like contrast and repetition, but I'm not going to go through each one because we kind of spoke about this earlier today. At minimum, what we're doing, we're simply describing the theme of the presentation board, and we are breaking it down into 2 levels of wireframes. Level 1 is just the zone, like where is everything placed. So location is at the left, the title is at the top right, a rendering is at the bottom. And then now this is a more detailed like wireframe, and it's basically showing, okay, where is the information and where is the illustrations. And right now you can see that it's like information below, illustration on top, information below, illustration on top. Right? So what I want you guys to do, you're going to do the same thing and try and do it very neat, because you're actually going to take a screenshot of this, and this is what you're going to submit as this activity, right? And I want you to do the same thing. You're going to create 2 levels. So I'm going to call this wireframe zone. Put zone in bracket. And I'm going to say this one now is wireframe illustration versus information. So it's right. And I want you to follow suit. You're going to describe what just in a simple sentence. Please, guys, no, I don't need a paragraph. I mean, I don't need a novel. I just need a sentence, or at minimum a paragraph, just like what I described here. You're not talking about any particular thing, and you're definitely not trying to describe everything. You're not trying to say the title is located 8 millimeters from the top and the font size is font size 2. No, you're just summarizing it. Put it on your screen, hide it from your screen, and describe what you just saw. That's what I want you to do here. And I want you guys to go ahead and do that now. Right? Remember that you need to organize your sheets, please, guys. I'm going to do it for you, but I'm going to just put them in rows so that we can be a little and organized. You're definitely going to need to space these out a little bit. So
it's saying view only access.
Right. And we're not using a frame in a frame. And you only need 1 board, guys. 1 board. One presentation board, rather. Probably need a little bit more space here. All right, guys. So go ahead and do that. Does everyone understand what they should do? Any questions? Please use real photos. All right. No illustrations. Real photos. Normal photos. And no controversial photos either, please. All right. So we are going to describe a theme. We're going to do a wireframe with the zones of the presentation. If you don't recognize like what it is because it's in a different language, just make it up. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry too much about it. I just need us to identify what you define as zones. And then I want you to do a more detailed one where you highlight where is information and where is illustration. By the way, some of you might have complex shapes. Try to see if you can simplify it in basic shapes like circles. If not, you can use the what's it called? The pencil tool. So for example, I know like you're not trying, like if, for example, this one here, is Abigail here? Yes, you're here.
Yeah,
right.
I'm here, sir.
So obviously you can see your own has a lot of curves, but at the same time, I think I could still break this down in terms of boxes, but you can use the pencil tool to just use in the illustrations, because you can use line in yours. You got me, Abigail?
Yeah, I hear you, sir. Sir, you hearing me? Hello.
Are you here, Abigail? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. My headphones sleep sometimes when it doesn't get audio for a long time. So, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying I heard you, sir.
Yeah, I know, right? You were probably like, sir, I did answer you. Yeah, my headset totally chip out. All right. All right. Let me put this over here so you guys can grab from it, just so that you don't mess up mine. I'm going to lock mine. Right? I put it over here. All right, guys. So you can just grab from this. All right. No, you don't have to if you want to overlay, then fine. If you can make it up without overlaying, it's no problem. Like, I'm not going to mark you for whether you overlay the boxes over the items or not. If you can identify where the zones are, then please go ahead and do that. Davina, I'm just going to move you right here. Sorry. All right. And we're going to try to keep things all right, because you're editing it, right? Try to keep things a little orderly here. There we go.
So let's turn it into landscape.
Yes, turn it to landscape 16 by 9. I mean, it doesn't have to be 6. Yeah, let's all use the same thing. Landscape 16 by 9.
16 by 9?
16 by 9. So when you go to, you can just click the little thing here and choose the ratio. All right.
Okay.
So let's try and keep everything in the same order. All right.
So click what?
So let me give you guys a few minutes. Now, remember, guys, you're going to have two boards. One of them should be very simplistic, very simplistic. It just has the zones, like the major zones that you identify. The other one would be more detailed. So the one with the zones, chances are you can get away with just using one shape. It varies because all the designs are different, but majority of you can do the zones with just boxes. All right. When you're doing the zones, try and identify the major aspects of the presentation board. So if you notice that, oh, all of these information is grouped together, just put a box over it. All right.
Sir, my apologies. I was driving whilst the first part of the class was happening.
Okay.
So I've resized my sheet, and then the zones, that part, yes.
Right. So the zones, you're
Right.
simply looking on the presentation board and trying to group the areas that relate to each other. So for example, all of this information on my board seems to be related. All of this information has to do with the title. Everything here
Right.
probably is location. And then like all of these here are maybe features, I guess. It doesn't
Right.
matter if it's in a different language, you can just make it up.
I
What do you
understand.
think? Right.
So
So
therefore, the clear box that we did earlier, that is where it must go in?
yeah, but it doesn't have to go in the box. It was just a placeholder. All right.
Okay.
So that you
So I
guys
can delete that
left
box.
a space. Yes, leave a spot.
So my question though is, it appears as if this is a series of boxes
Mhm.
that the same thing that we were talking about, that middle piece, that middle one that you're showing me now,
Right.
the pink one, right?
Yeah.
That look like a series of boxes. So just like how we create the box, that's what we're supposed to do. Then we
Then
fill
you're
the
gonna
color.
then you're going to create a detailed version now of illustration versus information.
Yeah, man,
Right?
I got that. But the middle one, I'm saying how we make the boxes, just the same way like what the normal box, just the small box
Oh,
when I put in there.
well, if you want, you can just copy my box, which is located
Oh,
over here. And that should save you from having to go into the menu and create a box. You can just copy my box and resize it and rename it.
okay.
Mm,
All right.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Alrighty.
And how do you copy that again?
Control C, Control V.
Oops. I think I moved it by mistake.
Right. Use the ones that are down here. That's why
Where?
that's why I made so here.
Oh,
Yeah.
down here. Okay, gotcha.
Right. I'm gonna call it template shapes.
The time is 9 p.m. There's nothing scheduled for tomorrow.
So Control C and just go over to your area and Control V. Or right click copy, go over to your area, right click paste, and then you can just copy and paste it amongst yourself, amongst your sheet.
So I want to delete the placeholder one.
Yeah, you can delete that.
All right.
Mhm.
Sir, I just had to step out of the class because my phone died. But what is what we have to do?
Right. So we're going to be summarizing the presentation boards that you guys selected this morning, and you're summarizing them into zones.
Right.
So for example, I think this is location, I think this is features, this is a rendering. So I summarized them into zones and just made little boxes to represent the zones. And then I did a more detailed version that compares the illustrations versus the information. So for example, this is an illustration, this is information, illustration, information. And it is a summary, so I don't need to know every single illustration and every single text, but just averagely. All right. And then there's also a description that I wrote of how would I describe this presentation board, which is a theme.
Right.
Right. So a way that you can do that is to look on the board, turn off the screen or turn your head away from the screen and write what you saw. And you will find that your brain automatically describes a theme because that's just the way our brains are wired. We start to say things using metaphors and similes, and before you know it, you have described the theme of the board. So you're going to do that in one sentence. But these are the 3 things that we're going to do. All right.
Okay.
And we don't want to spend too long on this, so I'll give you a couple more minutes, guys. In the meantime, I'm going to fix up the submission button. I'm going to add a link here so that you guys can submit this and collect your class grade, your participation grade.
So is there a first to undo on this?
Yes, Control Z.
Okay.
Sir? Sir, where do we submit the work?
Give me a sec, let me prepare it. All right, guys. Yes, I see stuff happening. That's great. Alena, your stuff is dropping off. Oh, no, it's an example. Oh, I got you. It's okay. It's okay, Alena, you're good. Oh, but some of your stuff are on this board. All right, I'm just trying to get the link. I'm gonna put this up here, Alena. So.
All right, sir.
All right, cool. All right, now, before we start to wrap up the class, I want to get, right, again. Yeah, all right, here we go. Submission, class activity. I think this is class activity number 4. Okay, let's duplicate this. Okay, guys, I'm just waiting on the internet to keep up with me here. Come on, internet. You can do it.
So is it supposed to be a link?
Yes, it is, but I'm trying to paste the link, but the internet is, I don't know, it's being funny.
If anything, is the link able to be pasted in the Zoom chat so we can just upload it there?
Right, I'm also gonna do that as well. Hold on, it's coming up now. Okay, good. So this is I'm gonna call it the construct presentation board. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. Okay. Yep, I think that's it. Okay, let me get a screenshot here. All right, we got it. I'm gonna paste this link here. There we go. You can go ahead and upload, and I will also paste that link in the meeting chat. I'm gonna say deconstruct presentation board submission link. There we go. All right, so now that you have these done, what you're gonna do for me now is gonna be step 5 and 6. Now, we're not gonna do that in class, but I'm just gonna give you a little guidance in how to do it. Now, in step 5, well, I'm not going to make that count, right? So in step 5, what we're going to do is you're going to identify visual architectural themes that can be extracted from the essence of your project, right? So a while ago, we deconstructed themes. So we were able to describe the board that we selected. Now we're going to do that was the inverse. Now we're going to do it the right side up now, where you are going to think about a theme that can be used with your presentation. So for example, who is almost done? Okay, Addison.
Yes, sir.
Right, so I see you have laid this out, and you can see where you have the title and the section, and so in a way you give a little space here. This is what the board looks like, right? And then we have the title here. This has most of the information that's here, I guess, is labels. That's here. No. No, say that part again.
Should I add those as labels, like to show that they're there? Like,
no, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Now, there are 3 aspects that usually forms a part of architectural presentation board, right? There is the layout. So for example, you know, I'm going to put my location here. I'm going to put my features here. I'm going to put my photographs here, right? Let me try and put this big here. So 3. I guess you could say aspects that make up architectural presentation board. Now, I'm going to say typical, because in art, nothing is ever definite, right? So, the first one we have is going to be the layout. And we kind of spoke about that and we explored that a little bit. The next one is going to be, let me do this horizontal. The next one is going to be, I'm going to say the information and illustration, right? So how do those blend together? And the last one is going to be the graphics, right? So I want us to think about it in these 3 categories. Put this on a board. So for example, let's find another example here. All right, Marvin, I see you're laying out the information here. Now, you kind of give where the zones are and how things are positioned. That's fine. And then you're kind of giving an indication of the, I want to say, the shape of the information. You're going into more detail because there's an image here and there's text here and that kind of stuff. Now, the other thing that ties this together is the graphics. And I want to say the word, theme. And graphics, because they go hand in hand. Crap. Sit here. Right, so back to you, Marvin. So apart from laying out the floor plans and laying out the titles, there is a theme that ties everything together, right? Done in grays and blacks. I would like to say the word strong grays and blacks. You understand what I say, Marvin? Why do I use the word strong? Because of the contrast. Like, it's very evident. It's very strong blacks. Right. So I would use the word contrast in my description of this. And the thing is, this is what makes up the graphics is what makes up the theme. Theme and graphics go hand in hand. Because if you minus the theme from this, you're just going to end up with a bunch of drawings on a page. Literally. Like you just throw them on an empty slide. Graphics or your theme is what ties it together. So for example, Abigail, your own is a good example of that, because there is a heavy theme, there is a curvy linear theme, and the graphics are very like, it's heavy, meaning there's a lot of backgrounds, there's a lot of watercolor, there's a lot of shadows, things like that. So it has a very strong theme. Now, in addition to the theme, you have your layout. And the thing is, the layout, I mean, it's bordering on a little bit all over the place. But this string that's here, this line that's here, I almost feel like I want to include it in your summary of it, because it's almost what ties the whole thing together. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same shape, but it's like you have this funnel of information that is here. You understand? And this is what helps to organize the information. All right. So this is actually a graphical element. It's a line that helps with enhancing the experience. It's not necessarily a part of the drawing. It's literally just there because it ties in with the theme. You know what I mean? So those are the three aspects that we want to include. Now I want to check. Let's check on something here. Where is this? All right. What's our time like? Okay, we have like 20 minutes remaining. Okay. All right. So, what I want you guys to do for me is you're going to go ahead and you're going to identify some architectural themes that goes hand in hand with your tectonics project. I want you guys to identify 3 words. Where's the submission for this? Oh, my bad. I totally deleted it. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Yeah. Right. So we're going to come up with 3 words that represent the theme of your project. Identify 3 symbols that match the essence of your 3 words. 3 symbols can be anything. A little squiggly line, just literally anything. And if you want, this is optional. If there's a particular architectural work that inspires you, you can include that as well. And I want you guys to submit this. You're not going to do this in class. You can do this at your leisure. So when you click that link, you're going to see this come up, and words and images. So you're going to, okay. So word 1, submit an image that represents that word. Word 2, submit an image that represents that word. Word 3, and you do the same. And if there's this is optional. If there's an architect or something that inspires you, if it's a link or something, I want you to post that here. All right.
Sir, which activity is that one? 5?
Say again?
Which exercise is that one? 5?
Well, it's part 5. It's not really an exercise. It's kind of this journey that we're taking. And the idea is that when you get to the end of this journey, you would have learned how to create a presentation board.
Okay.
So you're going to go ahead and do this. And I also, let me take a look on our schedule. Let me see where we are with everything, because we don't have class next week, which, let's go here. Right. So we are current. Hold on. Am I in the right course? Yes. Okay. We are currently here. Yes. So today is the 14th. So that's here. Then next week we have a holiday. And then this is going to be due the week after. Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. Now, I want you guys to do this part here. And I want to talk a little bit about these themes that you see here, right? As it relates to a presentation board, right? Now, I'm going to grab this information and stick here because this will help you out a whole lot. This is actually, I want to name this what studio based assignment, because that's what it's called on your portal, not portfolio, right? And I wanted to show you guys this example here. Evelyn, what do you think of this presentation board?
It's a bit messy, sir.
Yes, it is kind of all over the place. And some of the things that we spoke about today, for example, like alignment is totally missing, right? Proximity, totally missing. What is the theme of this presentation? Oh my goodness, the theme is chaos.
Yeah.
So this is what I call a bad presentation board. Don't let this happen to you. Right. So I want you guys to think of a presentation board like a funnel, right? At the beginning, you know, like how a funnel is, it's wide at the top, but then as it goes down to the tip, it is then kind of grinded together down into a singular result. So think of it this way. At the top of the funnel is where you think about a theme, and we spoke about that. Like, you know, my theme is something that's curvy. It's something that is rectilinear. It's something that is angular. Like, what is my theme? And that's kind of at the beginning of the process. The first filter that you have is going to be to organize yourself. What information do I need to put on the presentation board? And that's kind of like what we deconstructed just now when we looked on things like, you know, what are the major things that we should have on this presentation board, right? So that's kind of what we have here. So site plan, concepts, photos, like we need to gather the information. Now the next filter we have is going to be to lay out our wireframe. And if you remember, we kind of did wireframe layout in the first activity that we did in InDesign, where we designed this 4-page portfolio. And we started from these very simple sketches. And from these sketches, we laid out a wireframe in InDesign. Generally, do you remember this? I'm sure you do.
Sir, I haven't gotten an opportunity to do the InDesign yet because my laptop kind of crashed.
Oh, okay. All right. So, who else is here? Nikai, did you do the InDesign exercise?
Sir, the software be like give me a problem.
Oh wow. Yes.
Yeah, because when I use it, keep on delete download like a new file,
I
and then
know.
after that, the next problem come where something it's stuck or when we come off and try restart it, just no come off. So the entire laptop completely start over again.
Wow. Yeah, so I know we're having some software challenges, but remember, you guys, I'm giving you guys extra time to do this one, especially that I didn't post the exercise. So that is step 2. Now, step 3, so when we create this wireframe, it's like we're zoning the presentation board. I'm gonna have my floor plans here, I'm gonna have my site plan here and that kind of stuff. All right. Now, as you go further down the funnel, there are things that help to let the design come together. For example, you're going to select things like color that go together. So you're going to now think about things like hierarchy. How do I position my information? My title is at the top, alignment, contrast. Like these are all things that help to shape what the presentation board will look like. And these are things that we discussed earlier. So things like when we talk about choosing the right font, proximity and color and size elements of design, these are things that help to shape what the board is going to be like. So you can see how we started from this very wide funnel where it's like, okay, I love this is my theme. I want it to be circular with blues and greens and whatever. You know, maybe you find presentation boards that inspire you, photos that inspire you. You start very broad, but then right away you start to filter by saying, okay, let's get down to business. I need to show floor plan, site plan, this kind of stuff. Then you go down and next filter. Okay, let me lay out where everything should be. And then you start to now think about how does my theme help to structure how I align certain things together. So for example, when we look on some of our presentation examples that we picked out, right? You know, we can start to see how do we align, who is this? This is Watson, right? We start to look at, okay, how do we align this information together now, right? And this is how you want to start, guys. You don't want to start with the graphics and then you find out that you can't fit the information. You need to start with the wider part of the funnel and work your way down. All right. Now, I have 2 examples here, and we're just about time. It's just about time for class to finish. This is a presentation that I did some years ago, right? And let's see how it ties into using this method that I just showed you here. So the first thing is inspiration, right? Remember, that's at the top of the funnel. Things that inspire you. It could be examples of presentation boards. It could be colors. Remember, we talk about theme. Theme doesn't have to be one thing. It can be a squiggly line. It can be a work of architecture. It can be anything that inspires you. So, where am I? Right, so I chose to start this board. This is one of the things that inspired me. There are many different things, but I'm just simplifying it for this case. Then what I did was to create a wireframe. Now this wireframe, are you guys seeing my screen okay?
Slightly blurry.
Yeah, I figure. But don't worry, it will be clear in the recording. I can make that clearer for you because we're not doing a video, so we should be fine. Right. So this is a wireframe, and this wireframe is very crude, but it does show the basic things. I want to have my site here, my aerial picture here, my montage here, and I want to fit this on the first sheet. On the second sheet, I want to have my floor plan and interior images. And on the third sheet, I want to have my section. And then I plan to have a walkthrough and a computer screen below it when I pin it up on the wall. This is what the final presentation look like, right? And you can see the resemblance with the wireframe, and also the resemblance with the inspiration. Now, inspiration, there were many other photos and things that came together. I didn't include it here, but for example, the things like the font and the colors that are used, like it is a combination of using everything that it is using the wireframe as a guide. But notice it's not exactly like the wireframe. There are some changes. So for example, I had an elevation here, but I didn't have an elevation here. I think I had like a exploded view or something like that. So it is okay to deviate from your wireframe, but overall we can see where it matched together, right? I have another example here. This is another presentation I did some time ago. And this is the same thing. This is the kind of wireframe. And then this is the final presentation that we see here, right? All right, so, and of course there's another one here. You guys can look on this in your spare time. Now, I do have some great presentation board tips from some of my favorite channels that I posted here. I want you to watch this in your spare time. You can actually watch it directly on the board. Just press play and you will see it right there. And these channels are some good channels to subscribe to, especially in architecture. And it speaks about some of these presentation boards here. And guys, this is not something that you learn overnight, but it's something, the more you practice it, the better you will get. Hopefully, I'll probably see you guys in 4th year again. And by then, trust me, you're going to be at this kind of quality if you continue to practice and if you have a method that you use when you are creating your presentation boards. All right. Now, here, what I have here, I've extracted some information here. And this is exactly what we did earlier. These are some examples of wireframes of these presentation boards that are here, right? Is it for these? Maybe it's for some of them. I don't quite remember. But you can see, you know, you have the title here, the main image here. Like you can see how this wireframe is going to allow the presentation to look at the end of the day. All right. This is some very critical information, guys. I want you to use this to complete the rest of the assignment. We don't have class next week, so it's going to be up to you to use the next 2 weeks to finish up this assignment. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to create a presentation board using the information you submitted up here at number 2. You're going to use the information from your tectonics project, and you are going to create a wireframe. Remember the same wireframe that you did in InDesign. You're going to create a wireframe for your tectonics board, right? The size of it needs to be tabloid, and it can be portrait or landscape. It's up to you. But you're going to create a wireframe, and we know what a wireframe diagram looks like because you guys just did it, right? So I want you to create, you just need to create one wireframe. You don't have to create 2, like a detail one and a zone one. You can just create a wireframe, because if you notice the examples that I showed you of wireframes that I did, you can see my wireframes are very like crude. They're not so nice like your wireframes. So wireframe is something that you can, you know, you can do it in your own way. There's no rule that says, oh, you have to use InDesign or you have to use, you know, you can as long as you kind of provide yourself an outline as to what you are designing. So you are going to submit your wireframes though. And let me tell you guys, this is a free 5%. Do not throw it away. I have seen in previous years where students, they give me the first part of the assignment, they do it in InDesign and they submit it. Then they design their poster and submit it, and they don't submit a wireframe. Like, why would you throw away 5%, guys? So remember, I want you to follow the steps. You're going to choose this. You're going to do your wireframes, and then you're going to create your own poster for your tectonics project. Now, the idea is for you to use all the things you've learned so far. So far, you've learned how to use Illustrator, and you've learned how to use Photoshop, and you've learned how to use InDesign. You're producing the presentation board in InDesign. However, suppose you have a scan and you need to clean up the scan, right? Mateo, do you remember which exercise we learned how to clean up a scan image? Are you here, Mateo? Uh-oh, Mateo gone to bed? Are you here, Matthew? Matthew?
Yeah.
Oh, Mateo.
Yeah, exercise.
Okay, right. So we did it in exercise 2. So for example, if in your tectonics project, you have a scanned picture of something and you need to clean it up, then you know how to do that. All right, suppose you have a diagram that you created and you want to do a better version of it. Maybe it's a line diagram. We learn how to do that in Illustrator. All right. You guys, you can select from everything you've learned so far, and I want you to create a presentation board. Now, please use all the lessons that you see here on this mirror board. There is so much good information that's here. As a matter of fact, I can tell you a secret that it's only when you guys graduate and I see you maybe 2 years later, and then you say, sorry, remember that information you give me on presentation board? Can you send it to me, please? It's like you realize the value of this information, but at a time when it's too late. You have videos, you have examples, right? Use all of this data to complete the rest of this assignment journey. All right? And remember your timeline. So this is due the week after you come back from your Heroes Day holiday. So on Monday, next Monday, we have no class. So you guys, I wanted to take the time to make sure that you finish this assignment because it's going to be due the following Monday. And in total, this entire journey is 15% of your grade, and it's titled Studio-Based Assignment. That's what it is on your portal. All right, guys. When we see each other again, we will be moving to a completely new topic. We're going to start going into 3D, and that's going to be really awesome. We're going to learn how to use SketchUp, and you guys are going to learn something that the last 10 years worth of CSA students that did DDM did not do in DDM. You guys are going to do something that is really cool, and it's going to help you out for the rest of architecture that has to do with 3D. So you can look forward to that. And that is it for class today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Sir.
Yes.
quick one.
Yeah,
We're
for number
supposed to submit this one, right?
Yes, this one is due.
How
Remember,
we submit it?
you're going to use the mirror board to submit it. Look at where it says the 5%. This is how you're going
Yeah.
to submit it.
But then what I was supposed to how do I then take my thing and submit it there?
So for example, when you click, let's say that you do your wireframe in InDesign. When you click the link on the mirror board.
This what we just did.
Oh no, this is a class activity. You're going to submit this now. You're going to submit this now before you leave. Or, you know.
How you that?
The link is right on the mirror board, right above where you did it. Submit a screenshot of this activity here. So you're going to click that.
So I need to click. Hold on. So I need to click this or screenshot first.
I mean, whichever you do first, it doesn't matter. I would take a screenshot, which what is it? Windows key Shift and S, or click the print screen. And when you take a screenshot, right? When you take a screenshot, you just save it to your desktop or wherever.
Okay.
Right, and then when you click that link, you will see this come up here, and you're going to just submit the screenshot right here. And that is your activity, your class activity for today. All right, and remember, you can keep track of all the class activities in your grades, right? That we're going to do here. So this one we're doing, yes, go ahead.
For activity 2, we're supposed to upload the pictures. That's the title of project description.
For class activity 2, say that again?
Yeah. Are we supposed to upload these pictures? That is asking.
Well, hold on. For class activity 2, let me check grades here.
Sir, for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for the student-based assignment.
Oh.
But number 2.
Oh, yes, here. Yes. No, this is not a class activity. This is just the pictures that you're going to use to do your poster is what you're submitting here.
Okay, sir.
Because what used to happen is that sometimes you might lose access to these pictures, right? And we do this work at different times of the semester. So I just like to have you submit the images that you're going to use, right? Okay. So this is not a class activity that's here. Okay. Anything you see with a percentage, that's what's going to be graded. So that's a percentage. This is a percentage, and this is a percentage.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, no problem.
Sir.
Yes, Jenny.
Sir, for the class activity number 2 with the computer specs, it's saying that I did not submit it when I did.
You did?
It says good. No, but it should say yes.
All right. Do you see, and you see your ID there, right? You see your ID number.
Everything else is good. Like I have all of my grades for my other assignments and everything. But just
that one is saying no.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for letting me know. I am checking it now.
Thank you, sir.
Let me see here. The rest of you are free to go whenever you are ready. So let me see. Class activity. Laptop specs. And this was who? Jenna Lee?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do see you here. Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry, that's another Jenna Lee. Yes, I see you here. I see you here. That's weird. And your ID number is correct, yes. Okay. It should have put you in. Let me update this just to make sure. Right, activity 1. Oh, okay. I don't see where anything changed. Let me check your name here. Jenna Lee. Oh, it says yes. Are you sure it said no? Oh, hold on. Where did you see no? And when you go to check
I
grade?
see no on both the check grades thing with all of the grades, and I see it on the class website as well.
All right, let me see. Let me refresh it and tell me if it's still there, because I just copied over the submissions again.
Fresh. Loading.
Five. Yes. No. 30.
Let me look for it. It's still saying no on mine. That's on the website. Let me refresh the grades.
No, man, it said 6. Yeah, man, it's saying yes.
Mine says no.
Yours still say no? All right, look on my screen. You identify your ID number?
Sure, it's 4630.
All right. You see what mine say?
It says no for the second one.
Oh, is the second one you're talking? The second one is not the computer. The second one is image size calculation.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I mixed it up. Sorry, sir.
No problem. See it at the top. All right.
Oh, okay. I soon do that one, though. I soon do that one.
Well, the time for that one is gone.
What?
Yes.
No,
it's a class.
Remember my laptop crashed. It's in the shop.
But that
I had
activity.
sent you a message.
Okay, fine. Go ahead and submit it ASAP. Go ahead and submit
Thank you.
it. All right, go ahead and submit it. All right.
Have a good night. Bye.
Yes, hurry up before I change my mind. Yes. What's your question?
When is the close off date? That's what I wanted to know as well, since I got my computer to start working after it started crashing.
This is for what? The exercises?
Yes, sir.
I think I'm gonna close it off when I do the final exercise, which is gonna be when you get back from so it's gonna be when we do the 3D exercise.
Okay, sir.
So that's gonna be after next week.
So basically, I just heard what you said generally about the class activity. So you close it off, that means that nobody gets to finish it, or do we have a short time to finish it, even if we had device problems?
Yeah, if you have device problems, talk to me and we'll work out something. But ultimately, the exercises, remember the exercises, I'm not saying 1 cocoa full basket, but the exercises are really meant for you to practice without having the weight of a heavy grade. So it's worth 10% in total for all the exercises. So even if we do close it off, I would still want you to focus on, like, for example, this studio-based project is 15%. So I would want you to focus on this. But to answer your question, we're looking to close off all exercise submissions within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one more thing. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir. What do I need to download SketchUp or any other app so I can get it from now? That way I won't be behind like this time.
Yes. Please go ahead and thank you for reminding me. I should have announced that before you guys left because I'm not going to see you next Monday. And the following Monday, I expect everyone to have SketchUp. So please post that in your group
Okay.
that I want you guys to get SketchUp. If you can, try to see if you can get your hands on the pro version. Talk to Mr. Campbell. There is an online web version, but you're going to be really limited with that version. So, please, everybody needs to install SketchUp for our next class, which will not be next week, but the week after next week.
Okay, so you said the pro version. Is there like a specific year attached to the pro version or any?
No, it doesn't matter which year. Just get anyone.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you for that reminder. Cool.
Enjoy your week. Come.
All right, you too. Okay. So, if there are no further questions, it is my turn to exit.